one, okay, remember, we are translating. Again, who can describe to me what a translation is? Yeah.
A slide.
It's a slide. So if I just think of it in terms of this particular shape here, I'm going to take a picture of this figure. Okay, and it moved it here, and there's other parts of the page on there, that's fine. If I clone it, okay, a slide of this figure is to take that figure and just move it somewhere else. Okay?
See, she's sliding.
I'm just sliding it. It's not rotating. Is it changing size at all?
No.
No, it's just slid somewhere, right? All right. Now I'm going to take a vector. Remember, a vector has what, 2 items? 3 items. It has not 2 endpoints.
A start point and an end point.
Very good. It has a beginning, it has an end point, and it has a direction. Very good. So if I create a vector here, my vector is going to go like this. Okay. Here is my beginning or end?
Beginning.
How do I know that this one is the beginning?
Because it's going where the arrow is going?
Very good. Because if I look at my arrow down here, my arrow is pointing in this direction, which means I'm traveling this way. So this one is my beginning, and this is my end. Yesterday, I don't know how well I highlighted this, but besides a beginning point, an end point, and a direction, it also tells me how far I move the image. So I take out my handy dandy ruler and I measure my vector, okay, from the beginning to the end point, okay, I'm going to say is about 6 3/4. Which means if I pick a point on my original figure, its image is going to happen 6 3/4 of centimeters away. Okay? So my vector tells me the angle at which to move, the beginning, the end, the distance, and the direction. Vectors have a lot of information in them. So now I'm going to go and I'm going to move this one point. This point is right here. So when I put my ruler at the beginning, what do I notice about my vector and the side of my ruler? They are
The same.
parallel. Very good. My edge of my ruler is lined up directly with my vector. So now I can take my image here. Oh, and this is where the point was. My point didn't stay on it, but it needs to be located 6 3/4.
So on your paper, you would draw in a dot there.
You would draw it a dot. I was able to screen capture my picture. Okay. The original, the image is 6 3/4. I know it's at the same parallel change that my vector is going. So now let's take a look at how you're going to do it. When we look at number 1, okay, I'm going to use my ruler. Everybody should have a ruler with them at this time. So go ahead and press pause. Go. Okay, so everybody now has their ruler in front of them. They have their sheet of paper. And we are going to translate figure A along this vector. So first of all, everybody measure your vector in number 1. Measure your vector.
Centimeters is easier.
Centimeters is easiest for number 1.
It should be 3.5.
Yep.
I got 3.3.
Yeah, rulers are hard. Some of them look funny. Yours only
I
has
think you
inches,
duplicated
so
though, no?
it's fine. You could still measure.
2.3. All right. I have to measure Mine is different, so.
That's why I'm saying it's technically 2.5.
So mine is at 2 1/4.
So
Okay.
Hunter, you missed yesterday. Did you measure your vector?
Okay, so we know that every point on this figure is going to be 3.5 centimeters from its original point. Now, if you look at this figure, does it have any points on there? I don't see any drawn on there, so what should we do first?
Draw a point.
Let's put on the points, okay? Should I just draw them anywhere, or is there places that make sense? Where it makes sense? You're at all the corners. There's a point, there's a point, there's a point.
That's okay. Some of you have already done this and your figures look awesome. If you think you did this incorrectly yesterday, follow along and add your points.
Don't you have to add one on the end for the shape, Miss Pierre? Oh, yeah. The ruler will be like, take it away.
Okay, so now, here's the tricky part. This is where there might be some error on your paper. That's okay. You are now going to take your ruler. We're going to put it at the first point. You need to try and make your ruler edge as parallel to the vector as possible. And you put your point the correct distance from the original. There's my point. Okay, I have now, this point is created right there. So I go to my next point, move the ruler to begin there, and I create the second point. I'm going to move my ruler, keeping my ruler edge parallel with the vector. I'm going to create my third point. Go to the next point. I'm going to create my next one. Now, if you're afraid you're going to get confused as to how to write it, at any time you can go start connecting your dots and drawing in the figure. Oops. Did I miss a point? Oh, out. In.
Oh.
It looks good back here, Miss Pierre.
Okay. So everyone is understanding how to do it?
Yeah.
Okay? It's a time-consuming process. Now, when we go down here, how many, am I going to use the same measurement down here?
No.
Why not?
Because you have to measure the thing.
It's a different line, a different
Shape?
Hector.
vector. It's a different vector. This vector, here's the beginning, here's the end. It's traveling in an upward direction, and its distance is completely different. Okay? So you're going to have to remeasure. Any questions on how to translate an image? Everyone is now going to do on a separate sheet of paper number 3 on the top of the next page. You have to get out a separate sheet of paper. You are going to draw specifically what it asks you to draw. 4 things. It asks you to draw an acute angle, a line segment that's 3 centimeters, a point, which make sure you label, and a circle with a 1-inch radius. Then you're going to draw a vector of your choice, and then you're going to translate each of those figures on your piece of paper. So in the end, you're going to have a piece of paper with 8 figures on it, 1 original and 1 image of each one on rectangle.